Hey, Bianca here, and welcome to Teach Like Bianca. In this video, I'm going to be sharing my classroom with you all, my middle school resource classroom. I have actually transitioned from teaching full-time 7th grade ELA back into teaching resource middle school ELA. So I have moved to a completely new classroom in the same building. It's pretty much a brand new school. We were only here part of the year last year, the spring quarter last year. So this is pretty much a brand new school, and it really helps out when you have a brand new school with decorating and making things look nice. You will see that my classroom is pretty basic. I don't ever have classroom themes, and I don't put a lot of stimuli up all over the classroom. I do have posters. I did give a lot of my posters to my co-teacher because he's a new teacher. But I really wanted my classroom to function if I wasn't in here, because I'm doing an admin internship, so I am going to be out periodically throughout the year. But that's just how I always wanted my classroom to be set up, is where it can function if I'm not in the classroom. Students already know what to do. So I really look for like a minimalist type of classroom where I don't have a lot of things up and just a lot of stimuli that is going to get students unfocused, especially teaching in this resource room environment for those middle school students. I will link down below a blog post that I have about classroom organization, where you can see my old classroom and how that was set up. And since this is a new classroom, I left a lot of my classroom library books in my old classroom, and I also only teach in this class 2 periods a day, and I co-teach for 4 class periods in my old classroom, which is upstairs from where I'm at now. What you'll see here is just me putting things together, talking about the different spaces that I do have in this classroom and what are some things that work for me and work for my students, and maybe some things that you can try as well. I hope you enjoy this classroom setup / tour video. And if you have any ideas for me, anything else you think I should add, go ahead and put it in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned. So this is my classroom. This is what it looked like when I first came in. It had a trash can in there. It had 30 desks. I believe it was 30, a little over 30 desks, but I don't need all those desks since, I'm a resource classroom, so my max should be around 15 students. So I had all these desks in here, but I had pretty much a brand new classroom to work with. This classroom was used for kind of like a daycare program last year, but I have moved all of my stuff in from upstairs, and I'm getting ready to start organizing. So the first thing I wanted to do is figure out where my desk went. And so this is me trying to organize all these wires and organize everything that they just had like kind of plopped down inside of the classroom to prepare. And I tried to go in and figure out where my desk was going to be set up first. Then I was going to start organizing the classroom around it. So I'm just trying to think about where I'm going to put everything. And I noticed there was only one area to plug in my computer and to have everything set up around where my computer was going to go. So this initial setup that I'm doing, I'm actually going to have to change later, which I'll show you in the classroom tour part later in this video. But I'm going to have to change everything around. So even though I'm thinking about, I want to try something new with my desk. I don't want the regular setup that teachers have, kind of like a triangle, more like a square setup, and you only have one area to get out. I wanted to move that around so I had easy access to get out of my seat if I needed to. So after I set up my desk, I took out all of the desk and all of the extra chairs, and this is what it looked like afterward. You can see I have a lot more space, and I do have an area in the back corner, if you see where that black chair is, for my para, where she has a place to sit if she needs to, or meet with students if she needs to. So she has her own little desk space in the back. And it was easy for me because moving all the desks around, moving them into the next classroom was very easy because that's where the storage was. And here I'm trying to put all of our desks facing one direction. So we're only allowed to put all of our desks facing forward. So all of our students have to face forward for COVID restrictions. And if you see, I have my mask on underneath because the same time I'm doing this is meet the teacher night. So I had to go in and explain that I just moved into this classroom, and I'm still moving things around. I had to let them know that things were going to look beautiful once they started, since I felt like they were coming in and seeing things so unprepared. It kind of stressed me. I'm not going to say it kind of stressed me out. It stressed me out to the max. So it gave me a little bit of anxiety not having things ready to go. So our students in the classroom can only be 3 feet apart, nose to nose. So I put seat to seat. And right now I'm just eyeballing it. I am going to bring in a measuring tape later to measure out 3 feet. And you'll see that in the classroom setup where I actually put the markers down on the floor so I can keep track of where each desk is supposed to be. We cannot have students in groups anymore. We also cannot have students in a U shape, because I thought I could get away with like maybe a U shape, but they felt like students are going to be, even though they might be like way over 6 feet from each other, or across from one side of the room to the other, they're still going to be facing each other. So I couldn't do that. We had to go the old fashioned way and just have everything facing forward in rows. So I do have 16 desks. I have four in rows of 4, going forward and across. And I settled on this part because this is all I could do for now. And I think at this point, a parent is getting ready to come in, or another teacher. So I'm running over to shut the camera off and go meet them. So after I got everything all set up, I have the rows 3 feet apart. I kind of have a layout that I'm going to work with. And I had to move the big cabinet from the side where the door is to the other side of the cabinet. I do have a lot of great board space. I did want to show you how I set up my classroom. So I wanted my chair opening to come out facing towards the desk, or facing towards the front of the room. And I have 2 areas for quiet spaces. I call them refocus tables that I'll go into a little bit more in depth in just a little bit. But for the most part, this is the layout that I'm going to be working with. That little area with those 2 little sofa chairs, I couldn't figure out how I wanted it set up. So if you have any ideas for me, go ahead and put them in the comment section. I am going to show you how I have it, ultimately how I have it set up now. But I am going to have to move a couple things around to kind of make it look a little bit more pleasing for me, I guess, because I didn't like the way those chairs were set up. So here, this is how my desk ultimately ended up looking. I just had to turn everything to the side, and I'm still working with those little seats in the back. I did organize the back table a little bit better, and then my para has her area all set up as well. That's like my little COVID cleaning station. I brought in a lamp, and I will talk more about my areas that I have here. So I finally figured out that I'm just going to put 1 chair here, and then still have my student area. And then I have the desk set up. There's like some final finishing touches that I'm trying to work with and trying to get done. I do have this great big screen in front of me, but it's not touch screen. You can't write on it. It's kind of a little bit of a hassle, to be honest, even though it's new. And here I'm putting up my bulletin boards. A lot of middle school teachers don't do this, but I think it looks really nice. In my school anyways, a lot of middle school teachers don't put it up. So that's where I'm just putting things together. And here I'm putting in the markers, the little Velcro stickies that to mark on the floor to where everything goes 3 feet apart. And it's actually a little bit over 3 feet. And I'm only going to put one of the markers on just the front right leg of the table. So I have my yardstick that I'm using to make sure that it's just equal and it looks nice. And I'm going to put the description. I'm going to put these little Velcro markers down if you want to get them. They're awesome. They don't pull up off the floor unless a student's really kicking at them or really trying to pull them up, especially once the desk is over them. So if you have carpet in your school, this works great. I know in our commons area, our cafeteria area where students eat, it also, there is they just put little stickers down, which keep coming up, I noticed. So these work great if you do have carpet. I'm not sure if you have like linoleum, what works for you as well. So this is me just putting everything together. So I wanted to give you a realistic view of what my classroom looks like in a week in from school. And this is Friday, September 10th. I didn't even get my green bulletin board done until yesterday. So I'm going to give a quick classroom tour, and this tour is very realistic. Let's say that. I'm not one for a Pinterest type classroom. I'm one for the more of, a kid zone classroom. And my classroom is probably going to look like what your classroom might look like in the middle of the school year, because it's just been a rough start already. So this is my small group area. We have our wobbly chairs for students to sit on. I sit on them as well, and we gather around here for small group. We did story cubes today, so they had a crazy story that they came up with using story cubes. I'm at a brand new school. This is all whiteboard. This is an area back here where we can post things up. So I'm saving this for a couple of things later in the year. We have pretty big windows. Our sanitation station, what I like to call it, the area for announcements. So far we have the schedule up because nobody knows the schedule because beginning of the school year. This is my student area, and I talked about this in a blog post before. So we have an absent folder where students who were absent, let's say they're absent on Monday, they come Tuesday, they can check to see what they missed on Monday. So their handouts will be in Monday, and most likely I'll put their name on their paper so that they know what is theirs and what they missed and what they need to get. I only have 2 class periods inside of this classroom, and I co-teach for the 4 other class periods. So for both of my class periods, I have folders for them, and I just bought these folders at Target. They're like 15 cents. And then I require everyone to have a composition notebook for writing. We have our turn-in trays. And if you notice, I color code. So this class is red, that class is yellow. I color code everything just so I know easily where things go back to where they belong. My borders, I ran out of borders, so I had to get creative and do a little combination type on this. My thought box, a lot of people always ask about my thought box, and it is just it's like a comment box. If a student wants to ask me something and they don't want to tell anybody or ask in front of me, they might be too embarrassed or whatever the case is, they can put the comment in there and I'll read it every Friday. I have our academic vocabulary up. I already have our time capsules up. Don't open until June 13th, 2022. And if you want to know more about my time capsules, I will put the link to that blog post inside of the description area. These are just different books I have for students to view if they need books. Kind of my front station area where I put copies, and I have things for students to borrow. It's kind of a mess. It's realistic. I also have my teaching station where I usually stand and do my instruction, and this moves all over the classroom. Sometimes I go into the back of the classroom, and you can bring it up and you can bring it down. And then, oh my goodness, look at my desk already. For what it's worth, it's a little messy, and I'm busy. So especially if you're a special education teacher, you get a lot of different paperwork. And then I do have my Check for Understanding board that's up here, where I like to, it's quick and in a moment. I do have a blog post about this. I'll also link inside of the description. And then I have 2 tables, refocus tables, where kids can journal, they can color, they can listen to some relaxing music if they need a break from the day. And this is my instructional assistant, her area. So I have 2 areas if kids need somewhere to break. I do have the markers on the floor. My students are 3 feet apart. They're actually more than 3 feet apart. But since we have a lot more space in this classroom, because there's, I believe, max 16 kids for a special education resource in here at the middle school level, then I try to spread them out and give them space as much as possible. But that was a quick tour of my classroom. Nothing too exciting about it, but I just try to create a learning space for everybody. We do have the couches, a lot of kids use that for breaks too. This is my quiet one-on-one conversation couch where kids will come and sit and talk to me. So this is it. If anything new or exciting pops up throughout the year, I will definitely share it all with you. So thanks for watching.